Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Busy Bee Chronicles. Today is a travel takeaways video. So if you've been to my channel before, you know that after every trip that I take, vacation, whether it's small or a little bit longer, I do a travel takeaways video. And basically I talk about all the things that I did, my likes, my dislikes, maybe any difficulties I had, things that I loved, my favorite moments, stuff like that. So that if you're planning a similar trip, going to the same places, doing the same things, gives you a little bit of insight. And also if you're just interested in how I felt about my trip, it gives you a little bit of that too. Now, most recently, I went to Walt Disney World and I had a great 3 days there in the parks. And it was also right before a Disney cruise. So I will have a separate video for my travel takeaways for my Disney cruise, but know that there are videos coming from my cruise. I went on the Disney Fantasy for the first time. So it was a great trip. It was also a Pixar day at sea. I did an excursion, lots of new things on that one. So make sure that you stick around, check out those videos, and stick around for the travel takeaways of that too. But this video is all about my trip to Walt Disney World, and it was a lot of fun. It was my first time going to the Festival of the Arts over in EPCOT. I haven't been there for that festival yet. And I spent 3 days there. I went back to Animal Kingdom. I hadn't been there on my last trip. I really missed it. So it was nice to get to pop over to that park. I popped into Hollywood Studios as well, did a couple different things, but we'll talk all about that. So let's first start off with what I did for transportation and accommodation. So I flew Southwest. I'm coming from California, so to get from California to Florida, I always have to fly. I know some people have drove it before. I've never done that drive. It feels very long, so I'm still flying it, at least as of now. Maybe one day there'll be a road trip. But I flew Southwest, and this was actually my first experience with Southwest with the reserved seating. And I know that's been very controversial of people liking it or not liking it. Now, I personally liked it. It was fine for me. I like knowing what seat I'm gonna have. It kind of takes one of those little stresses away as you're getting on and you're boarding. It's like, you just know, this is my seat. Go sit down, get prepared for your flight, and it is what it is. So I personally didn't have any problems with it. I know there was, some that did. Some people don't necessarily know what seat they're gonna be in, I think, until closer to their flight, depending on what type of seat that you buy. So that could be a little bit, of the difference as well. And of course, people just adjusting to something new because it's a new policy. So at least on the short end of it, that was my experience. I did not mind. I liked having my seat ready, and my flight went good. Now, when I got there, I flew into MCO, International Airport. That's right there in Orlando, and I picked up a rental car. That whole process goes pretty easy. I got the visitor toll pass, which I've talked about this in the past, and if you're ever flying into Florida, train, however you're getting there, and you're getting a rental car, I strongly recommend logging into the visitor toll pass. There's an app for it. You can set up your account, schedule when you're coming, and basically it's just like a little hanger that you put on your rear view mirror. You log into the app and you let them know what the license plate is of your car and everything, so that's how they can track it. But then you can use whatever roads that you want. You can drive through toll roads and not have to worry about having to stop to pay a toll or being fined if you go through the wrong place. It makes things a lot easier to me. I'm not having to worry about that. And it's been really inexpensive. So it's not a service that they actually charge for. It's just something that keeps track of your tolls. You pay it at the end of your trip, and it does it automatic. So basically at the end of my trip, and we went through like at least 8 tolls, I think I paid like $10.60 or something like that. So it's definitely worth it if you're getting a rental car and you're driving around. Visitor toll pass, I definitely recommend that. And the rental car companies, they offer things too, but this one to me just sounded more simplified, cheapest. I went with that. And it's worked for me for all of my trips. Now, I stayed at the Lake Buena Vista Village Resort and Spa. Village Spa Resort. I always get the order of those things mixed up, no matter how many times I've stayed there. I think this was my 3rd stay, and I actually did a separate hotel review on this hotel. So if you're interested in it, you can see the grounds, you can see the room, amenities, stuff like that. It's all about it. So definitely check out my hotel review on it. But to sum up my stay in my accommodations, it's my 3rd time staying there, so obviously I'm okay with it. but it is not luxury. So I think that's just a really important thing to know, is that if you're looking to feel like you are on vacation when you're in your hotel, this is not the place for you. It's somewhere that it's clean, it works, it allows you to get in there, do laundry, cook something if you need to, because every room is a full suite. So you have a full kitchen, you have a washer and a dryer, which is the main like pull to me of staying there, and location. It's very close to the parks and everything. So it's convenient. That is its biggest pro about it, is that it's convenient. I feel safe there. I have everything I need nearby. So it's comfortable in that sense. But it has a lot of wear and tear, and there's nothing fancy and vacation mode feeling about it. I think that's the big thing. So just know that going into it, and like I said, I have a video that's separate about it, so you can look at it yourself, get an idea of if it's for you. Cleanliness is very important to me, so I've stayed there more than once, so that tells you it's clean enough. I do still go in and like I do my own cleaning at a hotel. Don't laugh at me. It makes me feel more comfortable when I'm staying somewhere. But it's the things that are like the wear and things that need replacement and repair and stuff like that I think it could use some work, and then it would be really great. But also for all those amenities that are good, it's a really decent price. So it always depends on what time of year and when you're staying, but know that it's, for what you're getting, it's a really great price. Okay, so that was where I was staying, how I got there, all the things. So now let's get into some other stuff. And that is, did I pack the right stuff? Now, if you watched my packing video before this trip, you may watch these videos and go, I don't remember you packing that outfit. And it's because I probably didn't during my video. Because at the last minute, the weather was weird on my trip. It was like one of the coldest times Florida's had, apparently in a really long time. So I had to go like repack and add some different things. And I'm very glad that I did, because I would have really regretted not having things like my jacket. I literally brought my Columbia jacket. I love those jackets. My faithful Columbia warm Omni Heat, jackets that I wore in Alaska, for the record. And I needed it on this trip. It was just very cold. So there are worse things we can complain about than the weather. But as far as things that I packed, did I pack the right stuff? That was the main item that, yes, that was a priority that I packed, and it was good. And it's a sign to make sure that you check the weather before you leave, because it was at the last minute I decided to bring that. And a hat and gloves. I had that, I used it. So it seemed like a weird thing to bring to Florida, but it was the right stuff. Something I wish I did have that kind of fell on the same lines of that is I wish I'd had a scarf. That was the only thing. My neck was cold, so I was like this, most of the time. So a scarf would have been really nice, and maybe a few more like thermal layers. But it's like it's a freak thing, right? You never know when your weather's gonna be like that, and at least I had preparation for some of it. Shorts I didn't need. I don't think I wore shorts one time, even on my cruise, which we'll talk about that later, in another video, but I don't think I wore them even on the cruise. So it just wasn't shorts weather packing, but also it felt weird to go to Florida and not have shorts just in case. So it still probably wouldn't have been something I took out of my suitcase. I would have still brought a pair. My packable backpack and my reusable water bottle, those are always like really important things, and they were perfect in the park this time because I needed layers to carry with me in my backpack when I didn't want the jacket on or whatever. So I definitely use my backpack every day. And also when I bring my camera and stuff into the park, it gives me a place to put it. But I love that the packable one is light and they're made small. So I'm a fairly tiny person, so big backpacks are kind of uncomfortable, and this one it worked really well. It's just one that I found on Amazon somewhere, but it's very comfortable and I like it. And I can wash it, and it will literally dry by hang drying it overnight. So I don't have to like put it in a dryer and it shrink or anything. It just dries. It's very easy. And this might be a good point to talk about things going through security when you're going into the parks, because I don't know where to put this. So we'll put it under talking about things that I have, that I packed. when you go through security in Walt Disney World, it's a little different than Disneyland. Disneyland, they stop you, they go through everybody's bag, and you don't walk through the same type of metal detector, I guess, but you do still. And then in Walt Disney World, they have a type where you can leave your bags on you, and you can walk through them with your bags on. So they only go through your bags if they see something that they have to stop you and check your stuff for. Now, I don't get stopped with my power bank, my phone, or my GoPro if I'm holding it in my hand in front of me. And quite frankly, I don't want to get stopped through security and held up. So I don't know if I left it in my bag, if I wouldn't get stopped either. But just to play it safe, I always put it out in front of me like they tell you with your umbrella, and I walk, and I didn't have a problem. But some people in my party have a problem with eyeglass cases. So if you have like a really heavy duty magnetic eyeglass case, I think those ones are the ones that were setting it off. Because at first we thought it was a power bank, and it was like, no, my power bank, I have the same one, and it wasn't setting it off. It turned out to be the eyeglass case. So just know that if you're going into the parks, maybe do like a plastic one or something like that, because I think it might be the hinges and the like magnetic type, because it's like a heavy duty eyeglass case. So just random fact there if you're worried about that or thinking about that. And then as far as like shopping and pins and things that I got there, not that I packed with me, I did bring pins for trading because I like going up to the boards and checking out all the, Disney trading pins. And often I have found like some really good pins in Florida and a couple on the cruises. So I got a bunch of good ones. I have them over here. They're really hard to like show you. And I don't know which ones I got. Some of them were from the cruise. Some of them were from Disney World. But I'm going to plug in a little picture video right here so you can see what I got. But look at all of these. It was crazy. I found so many good ones. I particularly really loved the Mulan macarons. I thought that was adorable. And the Marvel one, that was really cool. I don't know, I liked them all. And the Powerline rubber duck, I thought that was hilarious. So yeah, there was just like lots of really cool different pins. And I found, again, a few of these were on the ship. I just don't remember which ones I found at the park, which ones I found on the ship. So I'll just show them to you here in this video because I did most of my pin trading while I was in the parks. And then as far as shopping goes, I did grab some pens, like these cute little, packs of pins. So this one was fun. And there were a bunch of other ones. I don't know where they're at. They're all spread out, and I have a couple at work. But they have different like icons from Walt Disney World on them, and they actually write really well. So those were fun. And I got this sweatshirt, super cute. I liked the colors and everything, so goofy. So I really like this one, and it was warm. It was really easy to buy a sweatshirt in Disney World this time. And then the other thing, Festival of the Arts. So let me get to that now because I did buy some artwork there, and I don't know where it's going to go yet, but you probably won't see it here because it doesn't go in this room. But Festival of the Arts was going on while I was there, and like I said, it was the first time going, but there's booths all over from different artists, and you can look at their art, you could purchase it, you could also have it shipped home, which is something that I did because it's really hard to get artwork home without bending it and just the space and everything. So I was happy to pay a little bit of money and have them ship it. It depends on the size of it, but I think the highest shipping I paid was like $25. That is not bad to get from Florida to California without having to worry about it. I was like, I'll pay it. It's fine. So let me show you what we got. Okay, so this one was super cute. It's a canvas, and I have it still in the wrapper, so I'm sorry if it's shiny. I think that's okay. Look how cute this is. It's a little baby Moana and like kind of like a porthole, but I liked that it was like tapa and natural things. I don't know. It was adorable. Very, very cute. And this is on the back. You'll always find like their certificate of authenticity and the artist and information about them. This one was by Denise Klett, and you could find it at disneyfineart.com. Fine Art Treasures on Canvas was the booth that it was at. But so cute, right? And bright and pretty. I don't know. I love it. There's a little sea turtle. So that was a really nice one. And then these are both from David E. Doss. And I think I said this wrong in my Walt Disney World video when I'm walking around, so I apologize. The sun was in my eyes if I said it wrong in my video. But he does watercolor, and I did not realize that they were watercolor until he was there and actually like talking about it. He signed them, which was pretty cool. So this one is like a Lani, and it's got Stitch in there. Isn't that like so cool? So yeah, and again, on the back, there's always information about the artist and different things about them and about the artwork. So very cool. And then this is the other one that we got, also by David E. Doss. And this one is like Castaway Key. I'm not sure which ship is that in the background. It doesn't say like which ship exactly. It's just a Disney ship in the back. But it does say Castaway Key at the bottom. And it was kind of cool because we visited Castaway on this trip on our cruise. And then we have a little piece of artwork. And it's really hard because on the ships, they'll sell artwork on board as well. But those you can't ship home. You have to find a way to get it home. So it's really hard when you buy it on the ship. And a lot of his pieces are on the ship because he does a lot of cruise stuff. So that was nice to get to look through all of the artwork there and purchase it and be able to ship it home and get cruise things. So yeah, that was fun. Now there were a lot of other pieces, a lot of different artists that I loved the stuff that they had. There was this one Alice in Wonderland canvas. I really debated getting it. I was like, I really like that one, but I couldn't figure out where I would put it that would be practical to leave it there. And then, you know, pieces that will stay there forever kind of thing, you know, and it's like, where do I put it if I move things around? So it just wasn't practical for my space, but they had some really awesome things. And there were a couple that I was going to get if they had a smaller print of it, because I had spots maybe for something smaller, like here, this dead wall that I keep trying to find something to put on it. So yeah, so if I find them, you know, in the future, maybe I'll find them in downtown Disney or something on a Disney trip. But there were lots of great ones, and definitely take your time if you're there during the festival to look around, check out all the booths, and do it earlier in the day, because I did notice some of them closed at different times. Don't know if they were listed anywhere specifically what time, but I did notice that. And I don't know if it's due to weather, there might be changes, whatever the case may be, but if you don't want to miss out, do it earlier in your day. Okay, how was the food? So food for me is always a little bit of a struggle in the parks, just because I feel like I have a hard time finding quick service things that I like. And I don't want to have to sit down for every meal. And I also don't want to have to schedule reservations for every meal. So I ate at the San Angel restaurant and inn in the Mexico Pavilion in EPCOT. I love it there. It's yummy. They got enchiladas, tacos. They have this really good huarache, I think. It's like a vegetarian dish. You can add chicken to it if you want to and stuff, but I didn't even get any video of that because I just ate it. It was very good, but I think it's like a comfort food, you know, and you're indoors, so it kind of gets you out of the elements no matter what the elements are, which is nice, but you feel like you're outside inside because it's, you know, in like a nighttime Mexico Pavilion. So it's just a really nice spot. Service is always good, and we got a little closer to the water this time, but still not a seat on the water. So you got to ask for that, and I think you got to wait a little bit longer. Wasn't worth it. We were hungry, and every view is still pretty. But yeah, definitely recommend that place. And then what else did I get? Oh, I did eat at the Diner Drive-In at Hollywood Studios. Again, I'm sorry if I confused that name a little bit, but it's the one that's the little drive-in. It looks like you're at a drive-in movie, and they serve you like in cars and stuff. So I did a walk up, so I wasn't sitting in a car. I was in a table in the back. But I have to say, I kind of was glad I was at a table, even though it's a very cute concept of sitting in a car and watching a movie while you eat. If you're with people, you're looking at the back of their head. So if you're at a table in the back, you can, you know, still kind of like see each other and talk to each other. But yeah, very cute little place. It was fun. Food was fine. I know they had like burgers and things like that. I got a pasta. Pasta was okay. The shrimp in it was like, It was all right. I didn't eat all of that, but it wasn't Wasn't anything super exciting, but it wasn't gross. So I'll take that. I also got sushi over in the Japan pavilion. I usually end up getting sushi there at least once. I mean, for me, that's like an easy, quick service, and it's good. It's nothing like exceptional. It's not like sitting down and eating sushi. It's, you know, grab and go kind of sushi. But it's good. It's an option. I'd like to try the udon there. I haven't had like the udon, you know, noodles and soup or anything. So I probably should have done that because it was cold and that would have been a good choice. But I don't know. I just didn't. I didn't think. I was hungry. My snacks that I got in Morocco, those were really good too. They have like baklava and all kinds of stuff. And I love that you get to choose. So they have like, it was like 7 or 8 different items. Maybe more, I don't know. But you choose how many you want and then you pay for like 3 cost this, 9 cost that, or whatever. And it was a great deal, and all my snacks I really liked. I like almond flavored things, you know? And one of the cookies totally tasted like the marzipan Seas candy, those ones, and I like those. So, without the chocolate. But yeah, so that was like a really good treat. I would totally get that again. And as far as other food that I can remember, at least from my trip, we did go to Summer House on the Lake again in Disney Springs. And I don't think I showed what I got or anything because I just got the turkey sandwich again. It's very good. And it was actually dinner time, but that's on the lunch menu. But I had asked them and they didn't care. They're like, that's fine. You can order that and just get something off the lunch menu. They were totally cool with that. So that was good, and it's a good meal. They have nice salads there and stuff too, but I didn't show it because it was the same thing I got before. But that's definitely one of my favorite meals, and the Mexican restaurant at EPCOT. All right, dislikes and difficulties. So I think for this trip, it's not fair to call the weather, you know, a dislike or difficulty because it's nobody's fault. It's the weather. But if I'm going to include things that were just, you know, like a little frustrating, you know, for my trip, I would say weather. It would have been nice to have had something a little warmer. I was fine to not have hot weather. It was kind of neat to get to, you know, wear a sweatshirt and pants and walk around Disney World because that's a rare day that I think you get to do that. But it was very cold. There was like wind chill happening. Yeah, it was a lot. So I would have been really happy if the weather was not quite that cold. But again, that's not something to complain about. There's nobody to fix it. It just is what it is. And you can be freezing and not be doing something fun, or you could be freezing and be in Disney World. So I'll take it. That's okay. And also on the opposite end of that, summer and the dead of summer can be exhausting and very, you know, hot, and you're working around a different type of extreme weather. I think it's just that extreme of weather is not the norm for there. So it wasn't, you know, I feel for the people living there, honestly, because like they're not prepared for that type of weather, and that's got to be really annoying, you know, even clothing wise. I know I go to cold places, so I have cold stuff, but if you live in Florida and you're never having to deal with that except for when you travel, that could be really frustrating. They had freezing nights, so I'm so sorry, Florida. Hope you warm up soon. Now, one thing I did notice that to me was kind of like a difficulty, or I shouldn't say difficulty because I didn't use it. I chose not to buy it, but something that was like a disappointment, I think, is that the multi-pass lightning lane, whatever that one is, that gets you, you know, it's multiple rides and you can select them. I would have loved to do that just to be able to get on some more stuff, but you have to buy it per park. And I buy park hoppers so that I can get the most of my day and park hop. But it's kind of to me, I think you got to choose. If you want to do a lightning lane pass, don't do a park hopper, because that's a lot of money to have to add up and pay for the lightning lane for each park that you might hop to. And then trying to schedule them, you know, between the parks. I didn't have a problem with that in the past when you just paid for it all at once, because even if I only used it for one ride in another park, it was worth it. It was fine because I paid for it for my day. But if I were to have to go now, pay for it for both parks, and maybe I only got 2 over here and 1 over here, it just doesn't feel as worth it to me. So having to do that, a little bit disappointing. I feel like I still got my time. It was more worth it for me to have the park hopper because I did hop back and forth and get more done than if I had just stayed in one park without getting one park and getting the multi-pass, if that makes sense. So in my mind, I think it's most efficient to do one or the other. Either pick a park and do the lightning lane so that you can get the most out of it, or do a park hopper and just wait in the lines that you want to. Obviously, if you have the money to spend and you want to drop it, go for it. There's nothing wrong with that, and that's great too. I think for me, that was my deciding factor. So instead, I did park hoppers, and I waited in lines for what I wanted to, and I didn't come across any lines that I felt like, ooh, I don't want to do that, that's too long. So I was still very happy with how the scheduling went in my day. I was just surprised to see that if you wanted that, you did have to pay per park. Okay, so my favorite things, my best moments, obviously the artwork, which I kind of already jumped ahead and I showed you that. But picking up the artwork there at the festival, getting to see the artists, some of them were even, you know, they were doing it while they were there. They were painting or drawing, whatever it was that they worked with. There were performing artists there. There was a whole pavilion about Broadway, Disney on Broadway. So they covered, you know, all the things. And of course the booths, there were like culinary arts in different places. I finally found the little, there's like a little Earl Grey mousse that looks like a teacup in like a chocolate teacup. I don't know if I talked about it in my video, but I was looking for it because it said something about inspired in the UK pavilion. So I was like, oh, it's over there. And I went and I was looking for it in the UK pavilion, but it was just that it was inspired by tea because there's, you know, Twinings, don't know how to pronounce that name, tea over in the UK pavilion. So I think because the inspiration, but it was actually all the way up in the front before you enter World Showcase. But I found it on my second day, and it was actually really good. It was cute. It was like a little teacup, and the mousse inside it had like a very earthy kind of tea Earl Grey flavor. So yeah, the festival's very cool. They, you know, celebrate all types of artists, which I think is really neat. And I like that it rotates anyway and that they have different festivals at all times going on. But this was a really cool one. I also got to ride Slinky Dog Dash at night, which was so much better than in the daytime. I don't know if it's because like I'm short and I sit really low in that ride, but you can't see out very well. So you're looking up a lot. And at nighttime, you see the lights, you know, really good in the Toy Story Land area. And then when you go up, it's like you're going up to the sky, you know, because you're not being blinded by the sun while you're doing that. So I do recommend Slinky Dog Dash at night because that was a lot of fun. Oh, and then as far as rides go, the other big thing was I went back on Remy's Ratatouille Adventure because now it is 2D. It's not 3D anymore. 3D made me super nauseated. I don't know. When I rode that, I was like, people talked about Cosmic Rewind making them sick. I was like, no, it's this one. I got off that and for like a good hour, I was sick to my stomach and I had like a headache and stuff. And it's funny, I've rode other 3D things and it didn't bug me that much, but that one did. So this time, now it's 2D, you don't have to wear the glasses, and it's just, you know, the screen as normal. It's so cute. I feel like I got to see everything and it's a fun experience. So yeah, that's a new little favorite ride over in Epcot now. Okay, so my top tips for this trip, I feel like I've kind of like sprinkled those in today. Sorry, I'm not going in a great order. But definitely check your weather. Make sure that just because you're going to Florida, you are aware of what the weather is going to be like. And also just always have one thing. I feel like that's how I travel anyway. I always have one thing that's for the opposite type of weather. So like if I'm going somewhere and I know it's going to be really hot, I still always have one pair of pants, one long sleeve that I can wash and rewear if I'm desperate and can't find something to buy or don't want to spend the money and buy an outfit somewhere when I'm stuck in weird weather. Or the other way around, if I'm going somewhere cold, I still always have a t-shirt and maybe, you know, a thin pair of pants or a pair of shorts if I think it might get that warm, that kind of thing. So just like always plan for different temperatures if you're like me and being not in a good temperature makes you very uncomfortable. If we're talking specifically about Festival of the Arts, one of my biggest things, like I talked about, is I think you should check them out throughout the beginning of the day. Don't wait until the end of the day to go buy, you know, your art or something. And if you see something that you really like, just get it. Just get it because you don't know if it's going to be gone. And things disappear very quickly. And just like anything in the stores, and this is not even related to the art, I finally decided I was going to go back and get that cute little Winnie the Pooh purse that had like a little coin purse next to it, and it was gone. It was gone park wide. They even looked it up. They were like, nope, there are none left in Epcot. And the day before, there were a ton of them. So if you see something you really like, decide, pick it up then, because you might regret it. You might not get it later. Okay, and then who is this trip for, and would you do it again? I'm just gonna lump those together now for this one. And the answer is, of course, yes, I would do it again. And as far as who it's for, I think any Disney park is always good for a Disney fan. And families can, of course, it's not that you have to have a family, I think, to go to Disney, because clearly I go and I'm a grown adult. I don't have kids with me, and I love it. My family enjoys it. It's something that we do together. Would I go to the parks even by myself? Yes, I would, because I think it's just a place of fun and joy, and there's so much that, you know, that they do, like at this festival, for example, right? There's tons of things that you can appreciate without it having to be a group activity or without you having to have a child to enjoy it. But on the other end of things, it's a Disney park. And if you have children and you are a family, there's so much to do and enjoy together, which is something that makes it such a good trip. So I recommend it for anybody who is willing to do lots of walking, of course, because any Disney park, you got to do lots of walking, and that you want that energy, right? So if you're looking for something relaxing, Disney parks are not the way to go, I don't think. Maybe resorts, Disney resorts. But if you're going to a park, you're being active, you're having lots of fun, and I think if that's what you're looking for, it's a great trip for you. And if you love art or performing arts or anything, definitely go during this time of year for the festival at EPCOT. Oh, and I didn't even mention, there was the whole Broadway performance where we got to see two, you know, famous Broadway performers come do a little concert. That was very cool. So there's even that. There's different, you know, opportunities to get to see little concerts and shows, and you don't want to miss that. All right, well, hopefully this video helped give you a little bit of insight into this trip, if it's something that you're looking forward to, or if you were just interested in how I felt about my experience and my trip. I hope you will stick around, because I have my videos for my cruise coming up, and then after that, of course, we'll do the same thing. We'll do a little travel takeaways, and I am going to talk about the ship, the Disney Fantasy, because it's such a favorite I've heard people talk about amongst like adults. Like adult cruisers really love the Disney Fantasy, and I couldn't wait to see why. Why was this, you know, a ship? So I am going to kind of touch on that in my travel takeaways with that. But yeah, stick around. Make sure you subscribe to the Busy Bee Chronicles so you get notified anytime that I post new videos. I'm also over on Instagram, so check out my Instagram. I'm going to be posting more faithfully on there, I promise. And I share, you know, little bits from my trips as well. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed today. Thank you very much for buzzing by, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.